Chicago, hello. Hey, what's up, what's up? I am 20 years old. I probably shouldn't be here. But here I am. I was born in the 90s. I'm a 90s baby. And I love that I was born in the 90s because it meant that I got to grow up during a fantastic era of music. Is anyone here a fan of a little band called NSYNC? Yeah. Okay, I'm not. I'm not. That's because when I was growing up, the greatest musical artist ever to walk this earth was in their prime, and that was the Backstreet Boys. The Backstreet Boys were amazing. They really spoke to me when I was like 5. If there's anything a 5-year-old like me could relate to, it was a crumbling love life. But the Backstreet Boys were awesome. They talked about so many cool things like getting babes and living forever. And I heard that as a kid and was like, man, I gotta get me some of this. These first couple years have been rough. So 5-year-old me had a girl over, and it was going so well for our first date. We made it into my hot tub and everything. It was awesome. And picture 5-year-old me in a hot tub. I was 3 feet shorter and weighed the same. But I was full of confidence, absolutely full of confidence. And we're sitting there in the hot tub, and I remember the most important thing the Backstreet Boys ever taught me is that when it comes to love, there's nothing worse than a missed chance. So I look over at her and I'm like, hey girl, Backstreet Boys. Hey girl, don't you think we should kiss? And she was like, no. So I've been single ever since that. It's tough. It's tough. But the Backstreet Boys had a large impact on me, especially musically. I'm sure there's a lot you could tell just by the way I walked up here that I'm actually a rapper. My rap name is Skim Milk. My catchphrase is, if the haters be hollering, they're just lactose intolerant. I got my first album coming out later this year. It's called Proven Lonely. But a big part of my thug rapper lifestyle is that I don't eat healthy. I do away with all that. And I realized that I don't have a very healthy diet last week when I went to the same McDonald's 3 days in a row. And it bothered me a little bit, not because the various health risks or benefits or whatever, but it bothered me because each time I went, the same staff was working, and I think they started to recognize me. I'm the freckled kid who gets a surprising amount of McNuggets. I love McNuggets so much, but I don't look like the McNuggets type. I'm 6'1", 128 pounds. My posture has been described as concave. Right down here. But I love chicken McNuggets, guys. They're my favorite food. If the phrase "you are what you eat" were true, I'd be 1,000 chicken McNuggets surrounding one accidental green bean. I love chicken McNuggets. In my life, I've never been in a street fight, but I would punch a stranger if it got me a 4-piece and barbecue sauce. And I'm pretty sure that's not the first time that's ever happened. Actually, I know for a fact that's not the first time that's happened because I looked it up. I went on YouTube and typed in McDonald's McNuggets fight. And let me tell you, I've never been so surprised and unsurprised at the same time. Like I said, I'm 20 years old. I'm trying to be an adult. I'm trying to make that transition to adulthood, and it's really tough, especially because I keep getting reminded all the reasons that I'm not an adult yet. For instance, one of the reasons I know I'm not an adult yet is that I am still terrified of the dentist. Absolutely horrified, and I always have been. And it's not like my average dentist trip is that strange. I still show up on time and lie about flossing, just like everyone else. But the problem lies in the fact of how obvious it is to the doctor that I'm having a terrible time. And I remember very clearly the day I realized I was too old to be crying at the dentist. It was at the end of the visit, and the doctor bends down and goes, all right, Spencer, you did a great job today. No, I mean it. I appreciate how brave you were. And I went, okay, and drove myself home. That's how you know. That's how you know you're too old. But in my defense, I had a bad experience at the dentist when I was younger. I was 7 years old, going in to get my first and only ever cavity taken care of. And I go in and I get seated, and the doctor puts on the mask for the nitrous oxide, the laughing gas. And he goes, all right, buddy, that should take about 3 to 5 minutes to kick in, and then we can start the procedure. And the doctor leaves the room. Now, looking back, I think 3 to 5 minutes was more than enough time for the laughing gas to kick in, because look at me. I don't look like it takes very long for anything to kick in. And I have always looked like this. If you look up the word lightweight in the dictionary, there's a picture of me holding a single Tylenol. So yeah, 3 to 5 minutes is the industry average for laughing gas. Safe to say that's more than 7-year-old me needed. So a half hour goes by and the doctor is nowhere to be found. And at this point, I am tripping balls. Just out of my mind, gone. And you may be wondering, like, hey, Spence, why didn't you just take the mask off at 5 minutes like he said? Well, I would have, had it not been for the fact that at 4 minutes, I had lost every sense of time as a metaphysical construct. So the clock's ticking away and I'm just sitting there. And I'll never forget what the doctor said when he finally showed up. Oh my God! That's what he said. And he runs over and he rips the mask off, but I couldn't feel it because I couldn't feel anything. I am just floating through time and space, ready to meet God. And he sits me up and he shakes me awake and he goes, hey buddy, I realized when I was gone that that baby tooth of yours is actually on, or that cavity of yours is actually on a baby tooth, which is gonna fall out soon, so we don't have to do the procedure. So that was all for nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I don't like the dentist, safe to say. But I'm trying to be an adult, guys. Like I said, I'm trying to make that transition. But another reason I know I'm not an adult yet is that at Thanksgiving, my relatives still comment on how tall I am. I walk in and they're like, wow, Spencer, you're so tall. Wow. Adults don't do that to other adults. They don't. It hasn't happened once since I've been here. Like, I can't imagine a CEO walking into a meeting, all right, everyone sit down, I want those quarterly reports on my desk by the afternoon, and oh my God, Eugene! Wow! You're gonna be taller than me! Trying to be an adult. And I think like one of the big like milestone transition periods from like childhood to adulthood is when you start going through like sex ed. That's an important time. And I had a really weird experience when I started going through sex ed. Because the year we started learning sex ed, my teacher got pregnant, which is dedication, first off. But it really confused me when she got pregnant, not because of the fact that she like got pregnant, but the fact that when she told us she was pregnant, she told us that she had a bun in the oven. And that's a weird phrase if you think about it, a bun in the oven, because what kind of oven bakes buns one at a time? The only kind of oven that bakes buns one at a time is an easy bake oven, but that's no way to refer to a pregnant woman. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. Thank you so much.